Yeah, this right here just wasn't smart. Well, guys, it has been a little while since we've covered anything sports related, and of course, wokeness has struck again. However, this story right here is pretty weird when you actually think about it, and I have to ask the LA Dodgers franchise, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? You know, most of Southern California is pretty well Hispanic, pretty well Latino. As a matter of fact, a lot of Dodger fans are Latinos. They're Hispanic, most of them are. And most Hispanics are actually Catholic. So, why in the world would you allow a group of people called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, an LGBTQ pride group, which typically tends to mock Christianity? And I'm showing you guys a photo of a video, but not the actual video itself, because if I showed you guys the video, I would probably get banned here off YouTube. Why would you allow a group that mocks Christianity that you actually told were not allowed to come into the stadium, which probably pleased a lot of your Catholic fans? Why would you basically say, you know what, you guys can come back in, we apologize, and issue out this statement? What are you guys doing? What are you doing as an organization here? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the bulk of your franchise is right there in Southern California. I hate to say this, but the Angels, they don't exactly bring anybody in. Of course, that is their own fault. Very, very bad what's happened to that organization, that there being the LA Angels. But the Dodgers have always had this great big fan base, this great big sense of pride. I mean, you got to think about it really quick. This is the same team that had Jackie Robinson. You had who else? You had Sandy Koufax. You had Dizzy Dean at one point in time. Ron Drysdale, of course, Tommy Lasorda. Kirk Gibson was there. The Dodgers have had a lot, and I mean a lot of stars over the years. A lot of big-time tradition. And you choose to dump your traditional values, and you choose to basically spit in the face of your traditional fan base in Los Angeles by allowing these people to come back and basically issue an apology. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you don't apologize to the woke mob. One of these tweets mentions the ACLU. I hate to tell you guys this, but the American Civil Liberties Union does not care about people. They really and truly don't. They care about certain small interest groups that pay them actual money to actually push the agenda and protect certain, let's just say, certain aspects in certain communities. And they don't even really do a good job of that. The ACLU is panned by both the left and the right, so it shouldn't surprise anybody that the ACLU, if they were in fact involved, did in fact come in on the side of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. As a matter of fact, I kind of hear that name and I kind of automatically think to myself that these people here are probably a bunch of loons and they're probably crazy. I mean, I have to show you all the photos. If I showed you all the photos of these people, I would in fact get banned from YouTube. I already mentioned the video that I cannot play and can only show you a picture of that. If I showed you guys that video, then YouTube would probably say that this right went against community guidelines, and here I am in the process of getting monetized. They'd probably let a community guideline strike on me, so I got to kind of play things cool. The thing is this right here. You are obviously for the whole Pride Night thing, which I think is really strange because you got an entire Pride month that apparently MLB is trying to celebrate. I've already given you guys my thoughts on that. I think it's actually blasphemous if you actually look into the whole thing. It really and truly is. You got to ask yourself a question. Is this group right here enough to possibly sacrifice a good chunk of your fan base? And you're going to hear me say this over and over and over again. A good portion of that fan base is what? They live in Southern California. Hell, they live in South Central California. Exactly how much of that fan base is Hispanic and how much of that fan base is also Catholic. I can promise you right now that roughly 2/3 of that fan base, at least in that area alone. By the way, these right here are the people who actually drive to Los Angeles to pay for the ticket to actually go to the game. Some of these people are season ticket holders. How many of those do you want to anger? I mean, it's just a simple question where you guys actually think about things. But then again, at the same time, though, maybe they're banking on making up for this right here with the money that came from the Lakers. Oh, that's right. The Lakers got swept. They're not going to the NBA Finals. And right now, there's rumors that LeBron James is probably going to retire. So now they got to go call Kyrie up and got to bring him over there to try to bail that team out to get them to the NBA Finals where old man Bron will just drop it in 5 games. Fact of the matter is that the Los Angeles Dodgers right here, in my personal opinion, they screwed up with this one here. This right here wasn't even much of an issue. It was actually, for the most part, squashed. It was actually buried. But the Dodgers, because they want to look all diverse and woke and whatnot, and virtually say, you know what, we had to apologize after several discussions with several diverse groups. And I want you guys to know something right now. As I've said before, that LGBTQ, that's 5 separate groups in one. As I've said before, you have to pander to all 5 separate groups. Okay? It's part of that rainbow coalition. You got to pander to all separate groups. They're not one and the same. They're all separate groups. Look, the lesbians don't like the gays. The gays don't like the lesbians. The gays don't like the trans. Okay? It's the way it is. And the bis don't like anybody. Okay? They really and truly hate one another as a group. Dave Chappelle was 100% correct. And then, of course, you turn right back around and say that, after careful consideration, and then you apologize, this group right here is welcome back in. So you're going to welcome a group of Satan worshipers right back in when you have a fan base that is mostly Catholic. Very, very, very curious decision making here there, Magic. Well, actually, there wasn't a woke mob in this case. You see, these people here, the Sisters of Indulgence, Perpetual Indulgence, what they do is they, as I mentioned earlier, they love to mock Christianity. What they do is they put on fake crucifixions outside. They dress up in pride theme. They typically tend to dress up in drag. They dress up like nuns. Their entire purpose is to mock Catholics and Christianity and Christians as a whole. It's really weird how it was that I did a video earlier today on Target and the backlash and why it is that Target is finally coming to the table to say, look, we need to drop this line, this whole clothing line. We need to kind of drop this before we anger more and more of our customers. Of course, they're trying to shield that by saying that our employees are being assaulted. If your employees were being assaulted, trust me, you would find a way to double down on things, and of course, you would get ahead of the narrative. And of course, Target has not done that. But the thing is this right here. What are you thinking? What are you trying to do here? What are you trying to prove with this? I mean, so you're going to sell out a very large portion of your fan base, which happens to be Hispanic, Latino, which happens to also be Catholic. You're going to sell them out. And by the way, this right here actually was not a story until the Dodgers franchise decided to apologize, meaning that you could have said, get the hell out of here, don't come back, we're not going to do the Pride Night thing, you people are not allowed, which, by the way, they probably still would have allowed a Pride Night, but they more than likely would not have allowed these particular characters to show back up to the stadium. You could have done that and just simply not answered it and walked away. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, they themselves didn't even make much of a stink about it until the apology. It seems to me like this entire ordeal was actually kept relatively quiet compared to most incidents that occur in sports, especially when it deals with the whole community and the whole woke aspect of things and all the equity and everything. They typically don't tend to make big headlines, especially given the fact that MLB has decided for whatever reason to basically cut baseball off of live national television. Baseball games are very, very rare. If you wanted to save that sport, you would probably have more live games on TBS and also on ESPN, but those games are fewer and far between. This also includes Fox. Instead of just moving it over to streaming like Bally Sports or Apple, it just doesn't make any sense how baseball is running things. You could have, let's just say you could have done what you did, got away with this, and not even bother to, let's say, have to answer any questions, not even apologize. But what the hell did the Dodgers do? They went ahead and apologized, basically making themselves an easy target for the media and an easy target for the woke mob. You see, the woke mob didn't even really and truly know about this until the Dodgers themselves chose to come out and issue a press release, and then they chose to come on out and even apologize. I mean, Senator Marco Rubio out of Florida, he made a fuss about it, but then again, at the same time, the story was for the most part already dead. Most people right now are clamoring about the fact that the Dodgers actually brought this up and then apologized, and then to go on top of that, they're getting criticized by the Catholic Church, the archdiocese in the area. All those who actually adhere to Catholicism are upset in that region, upset with the fan base. You got to wonder why. Well, like I said before, the vast majority of the Dodger fan base is located in Southern California, and guess what? The vast majority of those fans are Hispanic, and the vast majority of those Hispanic fans are, in fact, Catholic. Maybe it's the ESG thing, I do not know, but all you had to do in this situation was just simply not say a word. Basically, what happened in this case is that this particular group, which, by the way, is pretty well fringed, not that large, they were basically told, look, we don't want you guys around here. You guys kind of give us a bad name. And of course, the Dodgers were also considering dropping the whole Pride Night thing as a whole. Out of the middle of nowhere, somebody says anything, the Dodgers respond, and then they come out after they respond, and then they come out and they say, well, you know what, we're sorry about this, we apologize, you guys are allowed back into the stadium regardless of who you offend. But I understand, you can let basically whoever you want in the stadium. However, the problem is that there are certain restrictions on certain groups. I mean, last I checked, certain organizations are not going to want certain people around, especially given their fan base. As I said before, the vast majority of the Dodger fan base in that area adheres to Catholicism. Don't you think maybe it is possible that this right here may result in more backlash towards your fan base, towards your team, towards your franchise, towards your organization, because of the fact that you apologized and that you made this entire thing a story when, quite frankly, all you had to do was just not answer any questions? There wasn't even really and truly a woke mob to even cave into. I mean, I know I mentioned that they caved to the mob. They caved to the LGBTQ mob, not the overall woke mob. They're two different mobs. Typically what tends to happen is that one group will get pissed off, they'll show up, and then they'll try to rally support, but they normally rally support after somebody says, go the hell away. These people are not as strong as you may think that they are. They're really, to tell you the truth, kind of a great big giant straw man themselves. All you got to do is just simply push them over, not apologize, and walk the hell away. That's really and truly all you got to do. But the Dodgers, of course, they came out here and they went out of their way to say, look, man, we're sorry, you're allowed, you're included, you can be here, this, that, and the other. And now, of course, you've got roughly 2/3 of your fan base looking at you like you got egg on your face and saying, man, you really pissed us off. Man, you really pissed on us by bringing this blasphemous group of freaking Satan worshipers into our group. And next thing you know, you're looking at the possibility of having an extremely angry fan base that's not going to want to buy any tickets. Now, I already know somebody's going to come in here and say, well, people are going to buy the ticket anyways, and you may be correct. But how does this do for your core fan base? You see, your core fan base are the ones who show up. The casual fan base, they buy a ticket from out of town, or maybe they may be in town. They buy a ticket, they show up to one game, they go away. The core fan base, they typically are the ones who typically tend to show up to 2 out of every 3 home games, maybe 3 out of every 5. Even though I know inflation is through the roof, and even though I know that the prices of everything in the state of California is very high right now, they typically tend to be your most ardent fans. They're the ones who actually fill up about 2/3 of the stadium, so that way the team has a crowd to play for. This was not a smart decision by the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, but I am pretty sure that you're probably going to hear more of these stories here in the near future. I would like to see a lot of players on the LA Dodgers team who are Catholic at least say something. Somebody put something up there about Julio Urias. But then again, though, at the same time, though, it is Los Angeles, so I guess we're probably not going to get anything out of a very, very liberal area. But then again, though, most baseball players tend to be a little bit more politically conservative, so we'll see what happens. Guys, John Claymore here. If you guys like this content, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. If I have earned your subscription, please hit the subscribe button, and please also hit the notifications bell. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.